Dr. Nene, this year the SSV project is turning 10 years, and 32,000 patients have passed through the project since start. Is there any story that has impacted you more than the other?
Yes, I think now it's 7 years in the project, and yes, maybe I lost 3 years, but I'm not disappointed, but just because those 7 was a little bit more worse because of those stories. And when you ask about story, I try to think myself because many stories passed, but I have one who impacted me a lot. So I can say 2, but one positively and another was a worse thing that I don't know which one you want me to...
Tell us both.
The both. The good one, I'll begin to the good one, was a story of a girl of 17 years old, and she came to the hospital after have been married 1 year ago with a guy, a rich guy in the village, and she got pregnancy. After the pregnancy, she couldn't give birth normally because they was very, very far from the hospital, and she needed to give birth at home. They forced, and she got fistula. They took her to the hospital. The baby died. She got fistula infection, and after 1 month, a team of the hospital passed in the village, our mobile team, and they found the girl, 17 years old, 18 kilograms, infection, malnutrition. It was terrible, you know. And when she arrived at the hospital, at least we thought just we are doing the last thing that we can do, she will die. And we begin with nutrition and treatment. After 2 months, she was 25 kilograms. After 3 months, no, it was 4 months, she was 31 kilograms. And she could begin to stand up herself, to sit and to speak. And one morning, it was 4 months after, when I arrived, and she was singing, when she began to singing, and she tell me, you know, I was as fat as you are.
And you also hear a lot of bad stories and horrible stories. Can you tell us one story that has really affected you and impacted you?
Another story, and it's a very bad one because I think it's the first time I made experience of someone who was very, very traumatized. A girl, also 17 years old, she arrived at the hospital. She lived in a village with her mothers, and the father abandoned them before, and the rebel went to the village, attacked the village, and they took all the youngest. They raped all the girls, and they cut the labia, vaginal labia. And after that, she came to the hospital. Arriving to the hospital, her mother died in this situation, and neighbors took her to the hospital. And since she arrived at the hospital, she couldn't speak. She refused anything. She refused any pill. She refused any treatment. She didn't do anything. She refused to eat. 3 weeks after, she died. And for me, it was really the first time I experienced things like this. You know, as a doctor, it's probably common to see people dying, but much of the time they're dying because they are suffering, they have pain, they have a pathology, and it was very difficult. I think, you know, she didn't die because she had malaria or something, but she died because I think she saw many bad things, horror. She preferred like to die.
How does it affect you? I mean, you have to stay in your profession as a doctor, but you are exposed to all these stories every day.
I know. I think sometimes you're still a human, and as a doctor, you know, you can be prepared. You say that yes, death exists, but it depends about situation, you know, and sometimes no preparation we have for this.
How common is it that children come in for treatment through the SSV project in the Panzisjukhuset hospital?
To the SSV project now we have at least less than 18. It's 20-25% of minors coming. But what is the bad thing that we notice among all the women with the pregnancy as a result of rape, more than 75%, at least it's 78% are minors. And you know really that the kids are the future of a country, and normally this will be a gift or a righteousness that we have. But if we don't prepare them, we don't give them all the chance to go up, it's really very difficult, because I think this is a generation of kids which is very, very dangerous. And also the kid that they give birth to, the kid without any roof, without feathers, and with only a culture of rejection, because all those small kids are rejected, you can't imagine. And the mothers are rejected because of the kids, and the kids who don't know love, who don't have any education, because no one cares about them. It is very, very dangerous, I think, for our country.
You live in the midst of this conflict, and you see the result of this every day. How does it affect the society you live in?
I think people are now all very ill, because you see, we have even something happen, we have reaction which are not normal reaction. You know, now people has lost, I can say what, humanity, because they are very, now it's a fatalism thing. I don't know how they react like that. Anything that you do, people, they just look and they continue. I think they saw many bad things that nothing make them to react. They are just living day by day, and
it's becoming a way of life.
Yes,
part of life. Yeah.
It's very, very dangerous, I think. Very dangerous. You don't react. When they beat you, you don't react. When they do good things, you don't react. Bad things, you don't react. You lost your humanity, at least. And it's very difficult, you know, to live in this count. Or, for example, me, I have kids, and it's very difficult to explain some reaction to kids, and you feel like it's something which is gone, and you are afraid with the future for your kids, for yourself, and you see where do we go with this, and it's very.
You are the doctor and the medical coordinator for this in the SSV project, and it stands for Survivors of Sexual Violence, and it's also a project that has become famous all over the world because of it takes so many victims of sexual violence. But you also treat other kind of problems like specialized gynecological care. How is the link between the conflict and those?
For example, as I told you, the fistula, it's one among the big gynecological problems that we take in the project. And the fistula, it came because only a woman don't have assistance when she gives birth. She don't reach an hospital. She don't have an health care. And that's a difficult thing, because first cases that we had, there was women who was raped, taken in the forest, and she's pregnant, and she gives birth in the forest without any assistance, and after it's fistula, you know, she link urine, and it's very handicap, and a big handicap, because a woman can stand inside the group of people. She can go to church, she can't go to the market, she can't go to work, she can't do anything. And it's directly linked with the conflict, because with the conflict in many areas, there was all the health centers was destroyed, and if the health center exists, the staff ran away because they couldn't stay. So all the women was abandoned. And it's also linked to the high level of mortality, women mortality, maternal mortality, and also for kids, because 90% of those women with fistula, the baby dies because no assistance exactly, and this is really a direct link with the conflict.
Sure. How is this constant flow of patients affecting the development of a project?
It affects a lot, you know, because continuing, we are first a humanitarian project, and a humanitarian, that means emergency. And I don't know if the definition of emergency says 10 years of emergency, it's not emergency again, you know, and it's a little bit difficult to say we're still in emergency. People can't understand why don't they things stop, and it affects a lot because we can't think about anything else. Maybe we could have possibility to get in development and have other things, because, you know, before our people is also a poor people. Even though we are a very rich country, but this is a poor people. Access to health, access to basic social services, it's very difficult. And this when we can focus. We have pathology like malaria, which people die with malaria a lot, and I think the treatment of malaria is less than $10, but people die with this. And it's thing that we can focus on because they are natural thing. But because of this constant flow, we forgot about other thing, because we are focused on this which is created by men. And it's very difficult, I think, for the development of a country or to continue to thought about anything else.
Do you have hopes for a change soon?
I am a little bit pessimist, you know. In 2011, you know, with all the things we tried, and the flow still like it was just diminishing, and we hoped that everything is going to be well. But unfortunately, you know, in 2012, also with the election, after the election, we have all those new rebels groups born, and it was very, very bad. And again, you know, our statistics, for example, for last year, 2013, are just statistics that we found 4 or 5 years ago, and it's like we are going back again, and it's not good. Only one thing that I can say, that now you have, with all the international pressure, we have a hope with, for example, the Addis Ababa charts, which try to push, because our country, our government has also a responsibility. And I think that all the other countries need to push, because when, for example, I am like here in Sweden, it's the big thing that I can ask the government of Sweden, all you organizations who are ready to support us, because we will not continue to treat only the consequences. We want to end with this, and to make pressure on this, so as the government can do and give the possibility to those governments to end with all the rebels group, and to have really peace. I think that could be a great thing that we can need, more than all the help, all the money, because, as I say again, we are a very, very rich country.
What has been the greatest challenge since you came to the project?
The greatest challenge. The first of them is impunity. Because when I say impunity, I see all those women who, after being treating at the hospital, in the project, when we finish to treat and we say, okay, ma'am, we think that all is all right, now you can be back. We spoke with the family, the community, maybe we say, we make reintegration. But when she's back, and the perpetrator still free, even the rebel, because we had cases at the beginning, we had even cases then, a woman, when she was at the project at Panzi, when she back, the perpetrator came again to attack the village of the woman, and say, because when you are going there in the town at Panzi, you are going to say that we did this. Now what did they do? Go again and say, and they rape her the second.
And that's quite common, is it, that women are raped over again, is it?
Yes, it was very common. You know, when we decided, for example, not to put faces of women on the photos and things, it was exactly to protect women, because by experience, it was very bad for them. And sometimes there are even family who move from their first village after the treatment of the woman. They go and move to go to live away, anywhere else, and it's very difficult for this also, you know. And I think the challenge is really justice, because if we could have a good justice and those perpetrators be punished, I'm sure that these things should ended years before.
How do you find ways to celebrate achievements and remain hopeful despite that you see that these perpetrators are going unpunished?
When you see a woman who faces horrible thing, and she can be ready to laugh, she can be ready to tell you, even though all of this, I go back to take care for my kids. I think you don't have to be discouraged, because it helps you to say, okay, if she has this courage to continue, I think I need 10 more courage than her. I take as if we are the last link of hope that those women can come. You know, we have some women who come, and when, for example, you tell her, yes, you know, maybe with this and this, there is something that we can do, even some fistulas, and we say, no, we have these limits, we can do this. Say, no, but it's Panzi. You can tell me this. Everyone tell me that here I found solution, so I don't go back without solution. And it's a huge responsibility, you know.
How can Sweden be part of continuing supporting the SSV project? And
I think, as I said, Sweden as a country in the European Union can be much involved also to follow up and to make big pressure to our government to try to find solution and end all of this situation. Of course, after that, you know, we need also development. And as you know, it's too much time passed with those emergencies, and maybe it can help also to try to support in development, because the transition will not be easy with all those people. We need reintegration. We need all the army group, for example, those who must, all the kids who was in the army, or all those who want to become civilian, how to reintegrate them really. There is many ways that it can help, you know, to really go in now development in peace, but also to strength on the thing of impunity, much, and this is a great challenge, I think, that we can have, and we need help, because ourselves, I think it's not possible, but we need all external pressure, because Sweden, for example, is the main donors in things, and it can help really to make a good pressure to our government to try to end things and to fight against impunity, really. Because I think without really good justice, we can't speak about peace. It will continue. Without justice, with impunity, it's continue. There is no peace, really. There is no peace. Because when you want to sleep and someone who did bad things stay in the town, it's not peace. Even though there is no gun, but there is no peace, because you continue to fear and live with fear. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Neema.
Thank
We
you.
pray and hope for a change soon.
Thank you a lot.
Thanks.
Merci.